Hello and welcome back to another Project Diablo 2 video. I am Kordesh and today we are going to be talking about leveling with the Druid. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that you need to know about the leveling as a Druid is what skills are we going to be using. And surprise, surprise, we are going to be using Summoning. And the reason for that is very similar to the Necromancer. Summoning is inherently very powerful for leveling. You do not need gear, you only need experience for skill points or an aura from a mercenary. This makes it very, very powerful for leveling because those little monsters and wolves and bears and whatever you summon are going to tank for you and deal damage. And the Summoning Druid is just very, very powerful. So, how should you go about this? The first skill that we're going to talk about is Raven. So, Raven is very interesting. So, it is a cast, and I'll cast it right now. So it's a cast, and then the bird is just going to hang out and fly around. And what it does is it'll seek out targets and then attack them. And it will persist and last until it hits something 5 times. So if you look at this, it does both cold and physical damage. For right now, it does 6 to 8. And you can have a bunch of these. So here, I'll just cast a bunch. 3, 4, 5, 6. It keeps going up. Now, the important thing to note is every time you put 10 points into Raven, you summon an additional Raven every time you cast. This makes summoning a bunch of Ravens much, much easier. So trying to get this to level 10 is going to be one of our first priorities. However, we are going to pick up a couple other skills here and there. As far as other skills, Heart of the Wolverine is something that you can put a point into it, or you can wait on it. It doesn't really matter too much. If you're soloing, I'd probably wait on it, but if you're grouping up, it's definitely a good skill point to put into it. It adds damage and attack to your party, and now it cannot be damaged, so it's just going to hang out forever. We also have Poison Creeper, and this is very effective right when you get it, at level 1, if you put a single point into it, but as you get stronger and stronger, this is going to get worse and worse. And I actually have a weapon, or I have a helmet that gives plus the Poison Creeper, so that's why it is modified. So I did put 1 point into it. The reason why I put a point into it is because I want to test out both Carrion Vine and Solar Creeper. So I'm going to put just 1 point into both of these because I think that you could summon these at the same time now. And getting rid of some corpses and getting a little bit of health and mana back sounds kind of nice. I'm curious how effective that's going to be, so it's something that I am interested in testing. The rest of the summons are pretty straightforward. So we have Spirit Wolves, Dire Wolves, and Bears. So I believe, so we can have up to, I think, 5 Spirit Wolves, 3 Dire Wolves, and 2 Bears or something like that. So so basically, you're going to want to put points into it, especially when you can increase the amount of things that you summon. So, we're trying to get to 10 on Raven early on, and then we might put a couple points. If those points increase our wolf count, then we're going to keep putting points into it. And then once it stops, we'll go back to putting points into Ravens. Same with Dire Wolves. And then Grizzlies is really powerful. So as far as the skill order, it's get Ravens to about 10 if you can. Then put some points into Spirit Wolves till you can get the maximum summoned Spirit Wolves. And then go back to maxing out Ravens. Pick up Dire Wolf when you can. Put points into it until you can get your maximum amount of Dire Wolves. Then go back to Ravens. And then once you get to summon Grizzly, you should probably max that out first because you need to get to level 20 on base level to get that extra Grizzly. So as far as a skill priority, it's probably Raven, then Grizzly, and then Dire Wolf, then Spirit Wolf. Or really, you can flip these two. It doesn't really matter too much. It's kind of your preference. Do you want the 5 Spirit Wolves that attack more often, or do you want 3 really powerful Dire Wolves? So it's kind of up to you. The big skill that's going to do most of the heavy lifting is Raven. Raven is very powerful. So right now I'm level 11, and so I can have, let's see here, Ravens I can have 10. So 10 Ravens, I've already casted them all, and we're looking at about 10 damage a hit between cold and normal damage. So 10 damage a hit, 5 hits, that's 50 damage per Raven, and we have 10 Ravens. So we're looking at 500 damage floating around me right now. Is that not absurd? Like, that's crazy. That's just so much damage. So that's pretty much it for the leveling. And it's very powerful. You don't really need to supplement anything else. You can just grab, weapons. Clubs often have Druid skills. So right now I have a +1 to Raven. And that's probably the most important skill that you could find on early gear. On this, I have a +1 to Raven, so we can get all the way up to 12. And yeah, we're doing some damage here. So I'll summon some other stuff just because. And wait, which one is that? Oh, right, F5. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the skills. As far as the attributes, enough strength or dex for whatever gear you find, and then rest in the vitality. You should need a ton of energy. You will have to be casting a lot of ravens, and it does eat through your mana pool. You can see my mana pool goes down. And so when you have to chain cast like 5 or 10 at a time, your mana is going to go down. You're just going to have to chug a potion and move on with your day. So not that big of a deal. Once you get all your other summons, a lot of this stuff won't die very often unless you're fighting a boss, and you're really just going to be summoning ravens. So that's pretty much it for the character build. So now I'm going to show you kind of how it plays. So I'm going to go towards Andariel again and show how that kind of plays out. And the reason why I'm only really showing Andariel and not like Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, the game is basically difficult at 2 parts. The first part being like early on, like when you're trying to find your footing and get your character online, and then later on in Hell. Now Hell's going to be difficult for most character builds. Summoners, it's not going to be difficult, it's just going to be slow. So you can absolutely get through the game, it's just going to be kind of slow. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show that Andariel footage, so stick around for that. Alright, so we made it to the Catacombs level 4. I'm going to go ahead and put up a town portal. I'm still level 11, so I don't have Summon Spirit Wolf yet, but that's okay. I'll show kind of how it works out. Generally, so right now my Raven is level 10, which means I can have 12 Ravens. And so I'm going to try and keep that number at 12 pretty much the entire time. I do have a Mercenary. I think that she might be Meditation, but whenever I can, I'm going to switch it out for a Vigor Mercenary. And then eventually I'm going to switch it out for a Might Mercenary. As far as gear, I'm definitely looking out for clubs and things that'll have plus to summoning skills. But also, if you can find faster cast rate rings, it definitely helps resummoning these ravens. As you can see, it takes me a long time to summon these ravens at certain points. So, yeah, that's definitely something to look out for. And really, it's just summon the ravens and kind of look around on the ground for some potions. And I really haven't even been paying attention on what's happening. It's just everything's dying around me as I kind of just talk about some stuff. Alright, so we're going to get back to 12 ravens. Let's open the door. And I'm going to, you know, get some free money off the ground. And we have a named here, which is good. We'll get some experience. Maybe that'll get me to level 12. It does. Okay, so I did save up a point because I wanted to try Carrion Vine and Summon Spirit Wolf. So I'm going to go ahead and try those out. Just going to throw them into random spots. So yeah, for Summon Spirit Wolf, you can see that at the first level it gave 1 wolf, and then this next level it gives a 2nd wolf. So you're going to want to, whenever you can with Spirit Wolf and with Dire Wolf, you're going to want to put points into it until you max out the wolves, and then once it stops giving you wolves, go back to ravens or summon Grizzly. And let's go ahead and get some more vitality. Alright, so back to summoning ravens. And then, well, now we're at 12. And I guess we'll kill the shaman real quick. Oh, there's Andariel. So I'm just going to back up. And just we're just going to kind of walk around. You don't really want to face tank her. She might kill your mercenary or your wolf. But it's really, you just want the ravens to just obliterate her. And they do. So, unfortunately, my mercenary died. That happens. And yeah, that's it. Pretty easy Andariel. I'm going to grab that ring. The reason why I'm picking up these gems is early on, you know, gems, what I do is I'll just sell them for money. But yeah, so that's it. It's very, very easy, and ravens are tons and tons of damage. So, and then later on you're going to have a wall of minions. So that's pretty much it for the Druid. Pretty straightforward. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you next time.